not a normal forum for us. This is Blue Collar Chatter. We're usually in the same room due to the COVID-19 virus. We are social distancing right now. This is Blue Collar Chatter once again. My name is Chris Madden.
I'm Dominic Collins.
I'm Sean Egan.
So we want to welcome you guys to another episode, a special episode of Blue Collar Chatter. We just want to let you guys know right off the top, this is a space for all of us to express our opinions, a little bit of facts mixed with some feelings and emotions. This is not a representation of any organization that we may be a part of, may participate in, support, anything like that. So let's, make that clear from the top. If we get something wrong, we hope that you guys can help us along the way, help us to fix it. But today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus and COVID-19, how it's affected labor in so many different ways, personally, so on and so forth. Before we get started, though, we want to talk to the seriousness of this virus. There's been a lot of deaths in regards to this virus, so definitely our hearts go out to anybody who's lost a loved one, a coworker, or known somebody to lose. That's something we all don't want to have to face. So in talking about some of these facts, we want to be considerate of people's personal effects as well.
Absolutely. You want to start off with a little cheers, fellas?
Absolutely.
All right. What are we cheersing to?
I don't know. Good health. Social distancing.
Let's cheers to the salute to the all of the essential workers out there.
Absolutely, I like it.
Salute to you guys.
Salute.
What are we gonna start off with today, Christopher?
So we're gonna break into the facts, man. What's the facts? What's COVID-19 facts? Like, what can we get into that we know right off the top? I mean, there's no. What do the numbers say? Are we over exaggerating right now? I mean, we 30, 45 minutes away from each other. Like, are we over exaggerating? What do the facts say?
Who do you want to start? Me or Dom?
Go ahead, Sean.
I'm just gonna spit out a few facts as far as whether or not we're over exaggerating. We kind of spoke about this yesterday, and I kind of admitted that I hated myself a little bit for agreeing with the extremist right-wing conspiracy theory nuts out there, but some of what they're saying kind of makes sense. I mean, when you look at the amount of deaths from COVID-19 to the amount of deaths that the flu causes each year, but this is a pandemic. It spreads differently than the flu, and it's just different in the sense that we don't know much about it like we do the flu. And like I misspoke just in front of you guys yesterday or a couple of days ago, COVID-19 is not the 19th strain of.
So what is COVID-19? What does it stand for?
So COVID-19 stands for Coronavirus Disease 2019.
Okay.
What it actually stands for. And the actual virus, the name of the virus is SARS-CoV-2. And COVID-19 is the disease caused by that virus. And I believe, I forgot to write it down. I was actually watching it in a documentary on Netflix about COVID-19.
Yeah, that just came out, right?
Yeah. It's only like 30 minutes, but I think they said this is the seventh strain of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And this is known as a, I hope I'm saying this right, zoonotic virus.
Yeah.
Which means it jumps from when a virus jumps from an animal to a human, it's called a zoonotic virus. Which
Gotcha.
Well, you sound like Dr. Fauci over there.
Yeah. What the facts say? I like it.
Yes. And as we all know, and I'm sure you all know, there's no vaccine right now.
Right.
They're still researching, and this virus is not new to the world, but it is new to us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I mean, does that lead to some of the other numbers, like you said, some of the deaths and tolls of people that have had it? What are the things that are causing such a mass hysteria about COVID-19?
Take this one away, Dom.
I think some of the things that have made this different from your normal flu is that it attacks some people's respiratory systems, and it kind of overwhelmed the hospitals for the need of respirators.
Yeah.
And it just spread so fast, and the hospitals were overwhelmed. They didn't have enough respirators to keep up with the patients that were coming in.
Gotcha.
So I think that's one of the big differences between this and the normal flu.
They didn't even have enough for themselves.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So that part we'll get into a little bit later, like supplies and stuff like that, and how it's affected the workforce. But that part alone is kind of scary, because if you don't even have the tools to protect yourself, like, you see people walking around with scarves and stuff like that, and it's just like, is that enough? Is it a 3M mask? Is it are you wearing gloves? Or I read something about like hand sanitizer, like just your average everyday hand sanitizer may not be good enough. It needs to be like 60 to 90% alcohol to kill stuff. So like that alone,
I think you recommend 75%. I'm pretty sure
65,
75.
75.
I think. Okay. Yeah,
that's according to CDC.
Now the numbers so far, I got this on Sunday. I'm sure they're higher now. They're probably higher, but the cases in the U.S. alone is over 960,000 cases.
Just went over 1 million a day.
Yeah. I got these numbers on.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So
Sunday.
That's another thing. Like, it's changing every day. It's evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing every day.
Right. By the minute. Most of your major news stations, if you watch, they'll have a rolling number.
Yeah.
For the cases and the deaths and people who have recovered. On a ticker, like it's a sports.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
You should watch that. I don't know if it's
documentary.
I don't think it's.
Yeah, it's like 20. Yeah, I watched it on Sunday.
Yeah. It's really short, and it's really important. It's.
So I noticed it was snippets from a previous documentary, because they had like Bill Gates on there, and that was from like 2017 or something like that. And that little, like a couple little snippets of that, they were like projecting this is going to happen sooner than later. I think one of them was like 2017 and 2019.
Yeah. So
it wasn't far off, that this would affect the world in a different way, and boom, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had in the past a few other pandemics, like the swine flu of 2009, and how the numbers match up with that. It was 60 million cases in the U.S. over the year.
That's crazy.
So, that's compared to the COVID-19, that's still, the cases alone are blowing it out of the water. There were less deaths to that pandemic, but the actual cases blowing that out the water. So,
according to what I think I already said this though in the beginning. According to what I've read through different sources and this documentary I just watched, pandemic it's classified like the way it spreads is what makes it a pandemic. The way it spreads and how quickly it spreads.
Yeah, that's one thing I was curious about, because it kept saying like novel. If you're reading stuff in the newspaper or in different articles, it says novel coronavirus. Novel. I was like, what does that mean? And it just was saying that new coronavirus that nobody's ever seen before. So if you haven't seen it before, like they didn't know how to treat it, they didn't know how to even diagnose it. You know what I mean? They're like, what is this? And that's where my curiosity, like you guys were talking about just comparing it, obviously asking the question, are we overreacting, so on and so forth. And it's just like, knowing that we've had other pandemics in the past, maybe this is my thought process, maybe that we are being proactive this time.
Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
I don't know because it's just speculation,
Yeah, I kind of think that we were so underprepared that we kind of did act maybe a little hastily, but I mean, rightfully so. I mean, when it comes to human lives, I feel like it's important to act fast instead of just wait for shit to crumble. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, you got to ask the question, like, what if we didn't self-quarantine and stuff like that and social distance? Like,
we would have started earlier.
Would we have seen the numbers from some of those other pandemics?
Mm-hmm.
I think, of course, there would have been more cases. It would have spread more, but I don't know that. I mean, it's attacking the vulnerable, the people who have compromised immune systems and they already have existing cases.
Yep.
Yeah.
And old people. I love all the old people. I love the sick people, but it's just kind of surprised me that we went to such extreme matters for a disease that isn't really. It's doing damage, but I don't feel like it's doing that much damage.
Not to like people like us. It's not. We are like at the lowest risk unless you have diabetes. I actually have high blood pressure. That's one of the things as high risk, but I hardly ever get sick. I mean, that doesn't mean that, I could have COVID-19 and not even know. I mean,
right. And so I'm glad you brought that point up because now, like talking about people like us, we're all blue collar individuals. So like, what effects have we seen when it comes to labor? Like obviously we know what the news says, but we can speak from it on the grounds. I mean, we in our state in Indiana, it was the mayor shut it down. I don't know, a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. We're at the end of April.
What was it? Like almost 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah. 6 weeks for essential workers, and we would classify into that essential worker category. So what effects have we seen on labor?
I mean, unemployment alone has been nearly 20 million unemployment claims. Over 4 weeks.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that obviously affects labor.
That's a lot.
I mean, that's a big number. That's a major hole to dig out. I think in February we were at like a 2-decade low of 3.5% unemployment, and
in 2 months,
and boom, here comes COVID-19, and now we're up to 17 million. I want to say that's like 14%. I didn't write the number down, but it's a high number.
Yeah, I think
it's scary.
I think it's a little higher. It is scary when you compare the numbers to, especially in our area was hit hard, the 08, 09 era for unemployment and the effects on labor. What else? I mean, that's hurt. That hurts right there. I mean, long term. But what other effects have you guys seen on labor?
Been a lot of jobs have been pushed back. We had a big job down, at least in our jurisdiction alone, Bankers Life, where the Indiana Pacers are playing. They had a huge remodel plan for after the Pacers season. They've cut a huge chunk out of it, due to COVID. And I mean, that's going to account for many jobs that many man hours going to be missing that guys aren't going to be getting paid for. So I want to say like $35 million or something like that. They cut out.
Yeah, I know that was a big one.
That's a huge job. So, and that's not the only one. There's been a lot of jobs where they push back and put on delay. They don't know when they're going to do them. People just kind of froze their money and stopped doing stuff. So, and construction normally lags the economy by 6 months.
Right.
So that's what's so scary. You know, we've noticed all these unemployment claims. So when all these jobs that we're working on now finish up and they wrap up 6 months down the line after this, I mean, we could see another 10 million just unemployment claims just from us. You know, it's scary.
Yeah. So it's something that we got to be cautious of. But just understanding those numbers right now, I mean, we're observing a lot of different things. And I know one thing that I've seen with some of the larger corporations and companies, they are doing like 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 week on, 1 week off. You know what I mean? And it's like they work from home. Well, being in labor, you know, and being out in the field, blue collar, it's hard. You know, you can't work from home. It's not an option. So that's something like our members of labor unions and people that support labor, it's going to be something we'll have to address in the future. Is like, how do we still eat? You know, that's what it's going to come down to. Like you said, Dom, I mean, you're talking about 6 months, and 6 months from now, the unemployment rate may come back, but the construction unemployment rate may still be low.
Right. Yeah. It can go even higher than it is now. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that it's just a hiccup and we'll hit the ground running once things get rolling again, but I don't know.
I think all this federal stimulus money, though, is going to help us stay in the economy, get back on its feet. I mean, I know states are running out of, especially Indiana, ran out of funds for small businesses because big corporations like Ruth's Chris, I mean, but they actually gave them back that they took, which was really cool.
As they should.
Right.
I mean, but that's good that they did that, you know, but they should have. But
right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Because it's helping some families, and it is definitely helping the economy. So, but go ahead.
No, well, you were saying it's helping families. It's definitely helping my family. My wife is in the hotel industry, and she got furloughed like at the beginning of this. So she's been off for over a month now. So in this CARES Act that got passed, that extra money, that federal money on top of the state unemployment, I mean, that's keeping us normal. You know what I mean? So that's
right.
Still a little bit less than what she usually makes, but it's still it's very helpful. It's very helpful, and I'm glad that that's a thing.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of people, everybody that's eligible for that money, hopefully they're aware they're informed of it, and they apply for that money so that they too can keep rolling and keep their bills paid on time.
But I'll tell you, man, downtown right now is losing a lot of money. Especially all the hotels, man. I mean, they are losing. The hotel chain that my wife works for, they closed down around 50% of their hotels already. So I mean, that's just insane. And I mean, we had the Big Ten in our downtown Indianapolis. All the players and coaches and teams stayed at all the hotels downtown. That got canceled. I mean, that's a lot of damn money that's not coming to our city anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the investors and stuff
that's
like
nationwide. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Big metropolitan cities all over.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see the effects of that more and more. But I mean, so coming out of this, you know what I mean? Not to obviously we're gonna get back to some more labor stuff.
Something else I wanted to mention though, we were talking about observations on the effect, how it's affected labor. To me, this has really shown a light on how essential all of us actually are. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
If anybody, you know, the governor might say this is essential and this isn't, but I mean, we don't realize, I feel like we lose sight of how important people are, how much we actually rely on other people until they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Then you know. So definitely salute to everybody that's still working right now. And even those that aren't, choosing to stay safe and not spread this thing. And, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've had a few days during this process where you kind of look for leadership. you know, and that's something we're going to talk about post COVID-19. You know, what have our leaders done? Obviously, this is going to be a very good map to find out, you know, what directions did they take? Were they proper directions? Did they move swiftly enough to protect people? Did they make sure that we were financially helped, but also physically? Because there you know, there are days you listen to the numbers and they just go up and up and up and up, and the projections, and you like, dang, like, should I go to work today? Like, is it better for my family? You know, if you have children, or if you're taking care of your grandma or something like that, like, you know, is it a safe thing to do for you and your family? And that's a tough decision to make, and we all have to make it individually. You know, I think one thing where I have to come out of this and realize is that we can't judge one another. You know, from each person's perspective. You might say, well, that guy or that lady, you know, they couldn't have took off, or they shouldn't have took off. I still got to come to work, and blah, this and that. It's like, man, you have to take into consideration they're looking at what's best for the people around them.
Everybody's situation is different. Like I know a lot of people have reached out to me and asking me for advice on what they should do, and the only thing I can do is inform them on the facts on what's available for them on whatever decision they choose to do. But I can't tell anybody what to do because I don't know their situation. You have to pick. You know, it's a risk every day you walk out that door. It's a chance you take that you can bring that COVID back to your family, or you can get it for yourself and get sick. You got to weigh the options on your own. You know,
definitely.
I want to take this time too right now to say, like I said a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode, that because Don was talking about how people are calling him asking questions. I would like, if anybody has questions about anything COVID related or the CARES Act or unemployment, anything, please use Blue Collar Chatter. Use us as a resource. Reach out to us individually. Reach out to our Facebook page, Instagram. I don't think we're on Twitter, are we?
No, we're not on Twitter.
YouTube.
But we might be able to post some of those links too.
Yes.
That we're talking about, you know what I mean, for information, because there's a lot of information out there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And we just want to make sure, you know, you as individuals are going to the right sites, getting the right information about stimulus checks, or what's the best things to help protect yourself out in public or at home, what things you can do to help, you know, boost your immune system, or whatever, you know, may help you in this situation. Like, we're resourceful, and so we want to be helpful to others, and I'm sure there are things that others can help us with, because definitely we want to thank you guys for our support. It's just been awkward for everybody trying to figure out how to still move and how to still operate. So if you guys are supporting us, salute to you right now. And if you have information that can help other listeners, please, you know, put those posts underneath our comments, tag us, DM us, send us private messages, whatever, in order to help get this information out, because that's what makes it stronger. It's just everybody helping one another, and we use these platforms to our best ability.
Absolutely. If we all work together, you know, everybody will have all the facts and all the information that's needed so that we survive this as best way as possible. You know, we'll get through this. You know, we're all in it together.
Absolutely. That's the thing. We want to be positive, you know. So flipping the script, now we get into the fun part of the conversation is, what are we going to do after this? What is job sites, offices, schools, construction? I mean, what are those industries? What can we envision those industries looking like post COVID-19? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of ideas do you guys have? I know it's a lot of stuff out there.
I think social distancing is the new normal. You know, you'll have a lot more people being conscious and being aware of, you know, their distance between themselves and another person. As bad as this is, as bad as COVID-19 is, I think that it's going to make us better as a whole. You know, the country, the world. I think everybody will come out of this a lot better than we went in. The economy might be shot for a while, but I think people will be stronger and that will adapt. You know,
we're very resilient, man. Humans
are
very resilient.
That's a good point.
I can see job sites this may look like Asia, and people may wear masks. We may look up and they may say COVID-19 doesn't even exist anymore. But I bet that people will wear masks a lot more often in America, even on job. They'll be part of your PPE. You know, you'll have guys with hard hat, safety glasses, N95 masks.
I got a problem with PPE already.
But you're right, Dom. I think the same thing. I hope not, man. I can't breathe in those damn things, and they fog up my safety glasses.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't breathe if you got COVID-19 either.
That's true.
It's part of, you know what I mean? Like hard hats get real hot at times, you know, but it's part of your protection. I mean, it's definitely, I think sometimes we can sit back and reflect on, you know, what's important, what's not important, and maybe our job situation. Obviously, if you're one person working on one job, you know, you don't need it, but you know, you can decide for that. But like, what about pay? You know, the conversation has come up several times. Like, what would a hazard pay look like? Or can we talk about vacation time, VTO, PTO? You know, like, are those conversations that need to be had now on platforms that weren't had before?
Yeah, I think definitely if you don't have some type of PTO or sick pay or something like that, to where you could be at home and still drawing some type of income, I can definitely see a lot more bargaining tables going over those things so that their employees can be covered when a pandemic happens. Because I don't know, we might not live through another one, but it's going to happen again, and we may live through another one. And it's better to have those things in place, those tools in place, so that they can be used if it happens, than to be sitting wishing you had it. Because if you don't got it, you know, you're scrambling. You're waiting on the feds to give you that $600, and people waited for many weeks, you know, months before they got that money, and the bills didn't stop. You know, our hours stopped, but the bills didn't stop. And if you do have that paid time off or that sick pay in your contracts, it protects the workers. So I can see that being on the negotiating tables across the country from now on, for anybody who doesn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to a insurance salesman, and he was saying that he's gonna make a killing selling pandemic insurance.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
he's right.
He said it'll probably be a low number, a low price service.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I'll probably purchase some. You know, it's worth it.
I probably would too.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, we may not even live through this. You know, we might be old people by the time that it comes back. But it's better to have it than
flood insurance.
We've already lived through I mean, we're in the second recession, which is damn near depression at this point. But we've already been through 2 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in less than 15 years. So.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Do you think we could motivate better conditions on job sites? Like you know, go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up, because OSHA is the driving force behind what's safe and what's not safe on a job site. But as far as people that aren't in unions or in organized labor, I think they're still going to have a hard time a hard time because they're going to have to rely on OSHA. But we're lucky in the sense that we have a negotiated contract, so we have people actively fighting for us to do what's right by us.
Yeah.
I mean, this could possibly make unions stronger, because I don't know about other unions, but I know at least our local union, it stepped up, and I think they done a great job on making sure that the workers were protected and make sure they had money.
They did
right away. There were no delays in supplemental income.
None.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and a lot of workers don't have that kind of protection. And if we could spread the word with non-union workers on what kind of protections that we have, I could see this, being a plus for the union, and membership could grow because of COVID. So I guess that can be a positive.
You want to kind of talk about what for those people, those men and women that are unrepresented. I mean, I don't want it to sound like we're bragging, but we're very lucky in what we have. And I feel like giving everybody an idea of how we're set up and what we get could motivate people to look into us, or any union trade for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So in our local union, we're not the only one. There's different setups in different areas, but in our local union, we have what's called a supplemental income fund, to where if you happen to be off of work for whatever reason, lack of work or FMLA reasons, whatever reason you have to be off of work, we have the supplemental income fund that gives you a supplemental money in addition to the state's unemployment insurance. So that gets you to a weekly stipend that's close to your weekly paycheck, so that you're not missing on so much money.
And for us,
I mean, that's a great thing.
For us, it was actually more for a journeyman wireman that just worked straight 40 hours. Now, granted, we didn't have any money going into our retirement or hours bank for our insurance, but like on the check, it didn't hurt us. I mean,
but it helped you stay afloat.
Oh, right? Yeah. In my situation, when I was getting that sub fund money, when my wife was laid off and I took 2 weeks off, I mean, that helped a lot, man. Without that, that we would have been in trouble.
Yeah, it keeps you from it keeps the roof over your head. It keeps your car from getting repossessed, and it keeps groceries in the house. It keeps you rolling.
Yeah, and a lot of people lose their insurance when this. So Celia lost her insurance. Luckily, she could have chose to pay Cobra prices, which is $1,100 a month for her, but luckily she could just get right on my insurance. When we take work off, I mean, we have banked hours. We have 6 months that our insurance is still going to be around 6 months that our insurance is still going to be good and effective. So, I mean, like, that's another huge plus for organized labor, especially our organization.
Right. So we have the supplemental income, which lasts 6 months. And also, as Sean Egan said, that our health insurance, we bank hours. So we could be off of work for 6 months and still be insured, have health insurance for ourselves and our family. So it gives us, half of a year to be looking for work and for the economy to turn around. So, I mean, it's a nice cushion to have. It's definitely a benefit to being in a union.
Yeah. So just for those who are not, who wouldn't understand how that's structured, how do you save X amount of dollars? Let's say, it was a $5,000 fund. Ours was set up on an hourly basis. So it started out at $1 an hour. Now, if you could afford to pocket $1 per hour, if you were to sit there and calculate your hours, whatever your hours might be, whatever field of work you're in, say you didn't belong to a union or something like that, for all our listeners out there, like, these times should raise a red flag. What can you do financially to be more prepared for something that could cause you to be off of work? And it doesn't have to be some crazy savings account that gets you a bunch of interest or something like that. That's investing. That's a whole nother conversation. But we're talking about just having a fund that you put $1 an hour. Say you work 100 hours a month and you work 12 months a year. That extra money is just sitting there. Just allow that to sit there, and that can be your relief fund. Now that's how unions are structured, and that we negotiate things like that for all of our members. So all of our members are participating in what Dominic was talking about, a supplemental fund. Now, whether you like it or not, you're participating in it. Now, some people agree with it, some people disagree with it, but it benefits everybody in the case of a situation like this, where you got to be off. You didn't choose to be off, but you got to be off, and you reap the benefits of your own hard work. Yep. So, we want to be mindful of those things post COVID-19. How can we be better? And so, there's effects on our jobs, but what about personally? Like Sean, you spoke a lot to your personal effects on your household, but like personal effects, how does it affect us like in our day to day?
So something, at least my wife's at home now while I'm at work, she wants me to, this is silly, but I have to take off all my clothes in the garage. Yeah. And then instantly get in the shower, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I'm living the same thing.
Yeah. But honestly, dude, for us, my wife being off work, that's a big shitty change, but other than that, man, not much has changed except the fact that I can't go inside of a restaurant. I need a haircut.
Yeah, I think we all at that point need a haircut.
Yeah, but nothing really has. We're still, all three of us, we're still going to work. It hasn't really stopped us. It hasn't stopped us three, at least personally, and a lot of people like us. It hasn't stopped us.
Yeah,
but
yeah. My day to day has been different. My wife, she's a school counselor, so she's been off.
Yeah.
For a minute, when they shut the schools down. This is different, she's at home. She's probably going crazy. I know she can hear me upstairs. She's not used to having the babies, having the girls all day. It's different. So she's a little stressed by the time I get home, and
it's your time.
Yeah. So, and I'm used to, we're all active. We all got stuff going on. I'm used to getting off work and then having a meeting, having like 3 or 4 meetings after work.
Yeah.
During the week. So it's just weird getting off work and then coming right home. But I have enjoyed, spending the time with my family. I know I'm getting on their nerves. We're getting on each other. We're driving each other crazy, but I'm appreciating these moments. Trying to make the most of it.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, and friends and family, we check on each other a little bit more now too.
Yeah.
You got time. Yeah. You got time to sit and like ponder. And even those of us that have hobbies, like if you got a hobby, whether it's building, whether it's doing puzzles or, I don't know, it's a lot of hobbies out there, but it's just like,
man, that would be
whatever. whatever your hobby is.
The whole 2 weeks I was off, man, Celia was bugging me to get a puzzle this whole time. She wanted to do a puzzle.
Bro, I love puzzles. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, I love them. I don't always finish them, but I do love
them. Good for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there, but like I appreciate it because my mind's always going a mile a minute. And sometimes the world is going too fast. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's too much stuff being thrown at me all the time. And then so like if the world slows down, it allows me to be like, okay, what do I want to do? Because sometimes, you know what I mean? And I think some of that has been like a little breath of fresh air where you're forced to sit down. You know what I mean? You almost look like a weirdo when you're sitting in the house all the time, or people think you're sitting in the house all the time and you're not going out, you're not at all the meetings and you know what I mean? It's kind of like, right. Well, no, I'm just kind of like you said, like we all been doing, like spending time with our family and working on ourselves and stuff like that. Like, I think it's been an eye opener in a lot of ways that sometimes we gotta take a break.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not a complete stop. It's just a pause and say, hey, you know, what's most important? Let's spend some time in what's important, and then we can get back to the other stuff.
Right. That's one of the. I think overall, you know, we'll all come out of this better than we went in. Like I said, the economy might be.
It'll come back.
Shithole. But I think overall, you know, our families will be stronger. We'll be better individuals. I know personally, I've been reading a lot more. I've been doing yoga for the last 2 weeks.
That stuff is a lot harder than it looks.
It is. Yeah. Well, I've been attempting to do yoga. So my poses aren't looking like the lady on YouTube, but I've been trying. But I feel a lot better. You know?
My wife,
you saw my basketball league. I move like an old man.
Yeah, I was worried. I know your heart. Better. I know your heart won't let you be an old man though, so I'm not too worried about you. So,
but yeah, the yoga and the reading. I mean, I feel like I'm getting better personally. Spending time with the family. We'll be better. We'll be better after this is over.
We're rejuvenated a little bit. Yeah. You know, and sometimes it's necessary. I know for myself. Financially, it made me think about a lot more stuff. I mean, so I've been looking more into like stocks. I mean, we have that ability because we're still working. Right. So, but if you haven't been working right now, if you've been off, like I think it's very important that you educate yourself more on finances. How do you utilize what money you do have to the best of your ability? I know. For a young man like myself, I've made some financial mistakes, and there are mistakes that I'll never make again. You know what I mean? And going through times like this, it's like, okay, like I'll never forget it. My grandmother, she passed away years ago, but she was 80 years old when she passed away, and she lived through the Great Depression. And during the Great Depression, she said she was like, we never realized it was a Great Depression. Because we were already poor. They were already like frugal and realized she'd come from a big family. So they had to save their pennies, so to speak. They had to ration, you know, nothing went to waste in their households. Dinner was always made for 6 or 8 people, and they made sure people, if there were leftovers, that they ate them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like some of that stuff we take for granted. And you know, no matter what kind of money you make, it's good to be smart with it.
Yeah.
Because even millionaires go broke. So I know we can.
Look at MC Hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Any more where that come from? Perspective is reality, man. Like if you poor is a state of mind. You know, it ain't what's in your bank account.
Yeah.
You know, we just gotta humble ourselves and just reevaluate our budget, you know?
Yeah.
Even though we're all working, like I'm scared that, you know, we're working right now, but like I said, 6 months, the economy, construction, you know, lags the economy by 6 months. So
what's it gonna look like?
Yeah, 6 to 8 months, we could be in a different situation. So I'm kind of trying to get prepared for the worst right now. Cause I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It can be different. So
yeah,
but still trying to, just like I said, enjoy the moment. You know, COVID is bad, but I think the byproducts of it are good things as far as building us up.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you know, it's gonna be some time. Obviously, this has been a huge topic of conversation for. I mean, it feels like 6 months. It's really only been like 3 or 4 since it's been in like real national news. You know, and the presidents had daily press conferences, which are sometimes entertaining.
Very.
You know,
Very
you don't know.
insane.
You don't know if it's the president or if it's like a stand-up comedian. But you know what I mean? Like, it's either way it goes, it's worth a watch. You know
it's Saturday Night Live every day.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things where it's kind of like, and you know, you can tune in or you just wait for the highlights on CNN.
So have y'all took either one of you guys took a shot of Lysol or drank any bleach to?
Hell no. You know
what?
If you watch that video, he didn't actually say to try this, but he was dead up serious when he was like, "In disinfectant, maybe we can try that." Come on. And then he said he was pranking everybody like
ultraviolet light. Hey, listen.
I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot. But sometimes, like, I'm surprised that a man he's smart to me. I think he's more intelligent than a lot of people give him credit for.
He's successful.
He doesn't.
I don't think successful and intelligence goes hand in hand at all.
I don't think so either. I was gonna get that.
I just don't.
But they kind of do. Like, you can't.
No.
You got to have some type of intelligence to be successful. He knows what he's doing. But what I was saying was, it surprises me that he doesn't shut the hell up sometimes and just let the professionals talk. Like, he doesn't have to say anything. He's got Dr. Fauci and that lady.
Everybody.
Let them talk.
Yeah.
You just stand in the corner. Like, you don't have to say anything. You're the president. You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. Just delegate. You don't have to say anything.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Big Lebowski. Have you guys ever seen that?
I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Well, what I'm going to say won't even matter, but people watching
so some of the listeners, some of the people watching might know what it is.
His name's Donald Trump. His name's Donald. So Donnie. There's this character named Donnie who John Goodman, a.k.a. Walter, in this show, every time Donnie opens his mouth, Walter just turns around and is just like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." So every time talk, that's what I think about.
So that's what he needs.
Yeah,
he needs it. Yeah. I would say, when it first started, when the press conferences first started, I was like, he's gonna do this every day, and it made me worry a little bit, but at the same time, I was like, I was interested because, like we talked about earlier, like this thing is changing every day. So
every day.
So I was thankful that we were getting kind of information on a national level every day. But I just recently read that after his statement, that was on a Thursday, and usually he has a conference every day. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a conference like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
He was letting that prank he just did sink in.
Oh my God. People were on his ass. And like that alone kind of lets me know he's kind of like us on that. He's like, fuck this. Hey, it's the last favor I give these people.
The last favor. Yeah.
Oh man, it's So I mean, hopefully you can find some humor in the stuff that's going on, man. I mean,
find humor in anything you can, man.
Yeah, you have to and laugh it off. Hopefully, you got some laughs with us. Is there anything you guys want to leave off with? Any words of wisdom?
Not necessarily words of wisdom, but a question. And this is something that I've learned. My biggest takeaway from this entire situation is how much, especially in the construction industry and obviously in many other industries, safety really doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter. OSHA, there was just a big thing where you're allowed to walk off the job or not come to work if there's imminent danger on the job site.
Yeah.
And many people, I would say the majority of Americans believe that COVID-19 is an imminently dangerous situation. But OSHA said it's not hands off. It's up to the company to come up with policies to control that, which is insane. So I just want to read something that our Indiana AFL-CIO president, Brett Voorhees, what he had to say about that. I'm just going to read this real quick. So it was this week, the INAFL-CIO, which is the Indiana AFL-CIO, called on Indiana IOSHA to shut down work sites when workers identify and IOSHA confirms an imminent danger related to COVID-19. IOSHA has claimed that it doesn't have authority to change employer policies regarding infectious diseases, but IOSHA needs to be frontline enforcement agency to keep Hoosier workers safe. President Voorhees said, "I'm shocked to learn that the agency responsible for overseeing workplace health and safety in Indiana deems COVID-19 in the workplace outside of its jurisdiction. Essential workers are working in hazardous situations, and if an employer fails to provide adequate protections, IOSHA won't take enforcement actions. It's unconscionable, and our frontline workers deserve better." And I agree with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let me make it clear too. I'm definitely not talking shit about the contractor I work for. In fact, they've doubled up on their safety standards where I work. So I'm happy about that. But the place I'm working for decided to not shut work down. And it's just crazy. As long as if your bottom dollar, safety matters until it affects the bottom dollar, then we don't have to, don't worry about that. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, I feel like we've always known that though.
Yeah, like, but this has like solidified it for me. Like this is straight up a pandemic, and there's just like a lot of people like, man, fuck it.
But if you've been around long enough to where you'll be on a job and they're like safety at the beginning, and then at the end when the deadlines are approaching,
all that stuff.
Safety's kind of like do it safe, but do it fast. And if you do it wrong, if you're not following all the rules, we'll look this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't surprise me. Only we can protect ourselves. We can't. OSHA's not going to save us. The federal government's not going to save us.
It's up to, we need to be our brother's keeper, and we look out for each other every day.
Got to watch out for each other. And if you don't feel there's things set up in place that if you don't feel safe, you stay home.
Right now.
Yeah, I get to stay home.
Yeah.
If you go into a situation that you feel is unsafe, that's on you. At the end of the contractor is still going to be in bed after we have your funeral and we send you flowers. The contractor's still going to be booming. General contractor is still going to be, and the customer's still going to be making money.
Yeah,
we gotta take our responsibility for ourselves.
Yeah, that can be a tough pill to swallow. You know what I mean?
This is a deep conversation because I have some very passionate beliefs about this. So this could be a conversation this could be an episode in itself. Just talking about that. Should it be up to us? Should it be a personal responsibility to protect us, or do you agree or think that OSHA shouldn't exist to look out for us? Like, if you think OSHA should exist to look out for us, then it's not necessarily, it shouldn't. Obviously we have to look out for ourselves. We can't be idiots and walk into a well. If we clearly see a hole, 4-foot hole in the ground, don't walk through it. Don't walk in it. Obviously.
But if it's not marked, you got a lawsuit on your hands.
So there's
right. So that's where those responsibilities, as you to your point, Sean, and to your point, Dom, like sometimes there's an agreement on both sides. Hey, we're gonna do this part, you're gonna do this part, and we're gonna come together and make this work. But if one of us don't do our part, then the other one's liable. And with this thing, it's new. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we got to be conscious about, is that this is new to all of us. This is new to many industries.
And it's frustrating. A lot of people.
It is.
Things.
It's a hard decision to make.
Yeah, it's aggravating.
Yeah. If you think 6 weeks back, we didn't know how long it would take for this thing to start tailing off. Right now we're at a point where it's kind of tailing off, still cases, but it's kind of tailing off, and we can we have talks, serious talks of cities and states opening back up, for business. And so, those are things that we didn't know what that outlook would be 6 weeks from now. And right. So for a company or a corporation to make that decision at that time, it's difficult. And so, we're gonna, from this point forward, look for ways for them to do more. And of course, they're going to look for ways to make sure they're going to cover their butts too. So it's definitely going to be a meeting of the minds, that's got to happen post COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
Any parting words you want to leave with the people, Don?
I got a quote for him. It's a quote from Charles Darwin. And I feel like with this new normal, it kind of fits, It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So the new normal, we're going to have to adapt and be resilient and get through this change, because we can't do things the way we did it 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we're ready to change, we'll survive and we'll overcome this together. So
yeah,
it's my quote.
I like that quote, Don.
That's a good point. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us. This has been a special episode. Definitely look forward to the future. We're going to leave tags for everything for Facebook, Instagram. Come visit us. We want to have more episodes and more support. We got a lot more things coming in the future. We want to thank you guys for supporting us this far, and protect yourself out there. You guys be safe. We're almost out of this thing, and we will make it. We will get out of this and post this virus worldwide. We will definitely look forward to some better days. So our thoughts and prayers and hopes go out to you and your families and your workplaces. Make sure you guys are staying, using the social distancing. Definitely keeping clean. Wash your hands, man. Wash your hands. Protect yourself. So that we can get out of this thing and grow from it. So I just want to thank you guys.
Yes, thank you very much. And we are the voice of labor. We need to come up with a catchy thing to say at the end of this thing. We'll
something that's not gay.
I'll holler for your dollar as long as you blue.
We get worse. We're getting worse. Don or Sean, you just stick to logos. The logo's dope. The logo is dope.
All right, right.
You got the logo down pat. We're gonna stick with
that. Yeah. So we'll one more cheers to the essential workers on the way out.
Cheers.
Ladies, men.
Y'all be safe.